own it, you got it, babes. Thanks, emoji, for that intro. All right, that was fun. That was the first time I had to narrate my own intro. But listen, this is a live stream, and that is what happens during live. That's what happens during live shows, and we just gotta learn how to own it, and the show must go on, right? So, no, but in all seriousness, welcome everybody. Welcome to Own It. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here in this featured hour on the Meet Me Streets with me, your girl Cecily, aka known as that Cuban girl. And I love Tuesdays. I love Tuesdays because it's the time where I can own it. I can kind of also vent in a way, but this is a healthy vent, right? Like I usually talk about things that I experience in my own life. But the interesting and cool part about that is that I get to share with all of y'all, and we get to have amazing conversations with not only me, but both of my guests. Because if you cannot relate to me, at least you'll be able to relate to either of my guests. And that is what's important, right? So during Own It, welcome, 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 everybody. I see people tuning in. Thank you for being here. Before I tell you a little bit about myself and about the show, I do have to say a couple of announcements, okay? I know it's a little, this is not like all the other feature shows where there's a lot of um, glitz and glam and a lot of like OBS and things going on. This is a more chill show. This is a daytime talk show, okay? But it is a feature show. So if you're just tuning into my stream, I want you to know this is a featured show. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we need to be a little bit respectful, not a little bit, a lot. Respectful with myself, with the guests, because this is not your regular stream, okay? This is a featured show. That means that we are live on the main page on Meet Me. So please, keep it respectful, keep it chill, keep it cool. This show is all about good vibes, inspiration, just high vibes. We're here to share our stories and share who we are and ultimately own who we are. And yeah, that's the intention of the show. So a little bit about myself. My name is Cicely, and yes, I am Cuban. I promise. I was born and raised in Cuba. English is my second language, okay? I may not sound like it, but I do speak Spanish very fluently. So I am an OG. I'm Cuban, like for real. I get that question all the time. So I have been in the entertainment industry for the last 10, 12 years, I would say. And I've been in Los Angeles for 10 years, and I have been pursuing a career in entertainment, acting, modeling. I am a former Miss Cuba. I have done a few beauty pageants. I have represented my beautiful island internationally, overseas. That was really fun. But I have been a ring girl for boxing fights, and I have done a little bit of everything, okay? You name it. And this is actually one of my passions, is this. Just interviewing people, having conversations with people, having meaningful conversations with people, actually, because I believe that in my journey of being in front of the cameras, I have learned a lot about myself and about who I truly am. And I deeply believe that we cannot be successful at absolutely anything until we work on ourselves, like from the inside out. That's just what I believe, and that's what I share here on Own It. I have realized that the only reason I've been able to be successful at anything, or get booked for jobs, or all the stuff, or raise my confidence, has been simply because I have been able to truly own who I am and be comfortable in the skin that I'm in every day, and be confident. And hopefully that translates on here to all of you guys, whether you're a streamer or someone in the audience, you don't have to be a streamer to be here. All welcome. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram because I am always on Instagram. And now I'm also on TikTok actually. I started being more active on TikTok because I decided I wanted to start giving tips on confidence, which I do that a lot here too, but on TikTok I'm doing it every day. So my TikTok is that Cuban girl 2.0 if you want to go follow me. So yeah, that's what we do. So welcome to Own It if you're just tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Feel free to connect with me, and if you want to be a guest on the show next week or the following weeks, connect with Emoji J. Okay. So you guys, couple of things. Please stay towards the end of the show. Why? Very simple. Well, I usually have both my guests jump in the guest box at the end of the show for final thoughts, but also whoever is my top supporter of the entire stream gets to become my bouncer. So that always happens at the very end of the show. I give shout outs to my gifters, and whoever's number one becomes my bouncer, just as a way of me saying thank you. I appreciate you for being here, listening, being part of the conversation. So, with that said, I have to give you all the topic of the day because we always have a different topic. The topic of today is a little bit similar to last week's. Last week we talked about men's mental health, and the week before we talked about mental health. And the only reason I come up with these topics is based on my guests. Excuse me, my guest bios. And when I was reading my guest bios, I realized that my guests today are actually very into mental health. However, we've talked about it for the last couple of weeks. So that means that today is very similar, but it's a little different. It's going to go a little bit more into how to handle ourselves in times of struggles. So the topic of the day is how to ground ourselves through difficult times. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, we talk about many different things as well. And I do want to encourage you all to hit the fave button for myself and the guests. That is the easiest way for you to support the stream, the show, and all of us, and check out my guest streams as well. So before I go ahead and I introduce my amazing first guest of the day on Own It, I want to give a last welcome to whoever's just tuning in right now. Welcome to Own It. This is a featured show that happens here every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time on Meet Me and, well, sister websites, I guess. So welcome. Thank you for being here. This is a show that is very high vibe, so please keep the vibes high, no disrespect. And yeah, let's get started. Are you guys ready? Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are ready for my very first guest today on Own It. Yes! Woo, 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 woo. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So my very first guest today is a streamer, of course. Her passion in life is music. She values family and friends, and she's starting a segment on her streams all about mental health. Please, everybody, welcome to Own It, Queen Alley Cat. Where is she? Ali, request the chat box, please. There she is.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course. I'm really excited to have you on the show. Thank you for accepting the invitation, and I'm super excited to get to know you. I always appreciate my guest bios, but I'm excited for you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name's Queen Alley Cat. I've been on this app for probably that's hard because I used to have an old account and now I have this account, so I'd probably put it together like 10 or 12 years roughly on and off. I just started recently streaming again, and I have, like you said, this a segment on my show called Mental Health Mondays. where I have some guests come on and we talk all about our mental health, what it means to us, what we've gone through. Um, and yeah, I have been married for 4 years. I have some dogs. I love to sing. It's everything in my life is just music. I love singing. I love making music. It's everything. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. Congratulations on being married for 4 years, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't know about you or where you're from, but in LA, dating is so difficult.
Oh yeah, I've heard. I mean, I'm from a small town, Iowa. I live like just where there's barely 1,000 people who live here, and so honestly, it's not any better probably around here. I can't imagine, but and I've definitely heard dating is really rough, especially in bigger cities. But honestly, my husband is probably one of my number one supporters. I went through a lot. I've kissed a lot of frogs to find my prince, is what I always say.
Don't
So
we
yeah.
all?
Yeah.
I love that. So you say that your husband is your biggest supporter through like everything you've been through. How do you think having support like that makes a difference when you're going through difficult times?
Oh my gosh. Oh. um, I honestly can't tell you half of the times where I started that segment because I struggle with mental health myself. And even if I did, I would always support it. But he's one of the people who have been through every single struggle that I've gone through. Um, I've thank you so much. I struggle with PTSD, anxiety, and severe depression. And with that comes a lot of baggage. Um, it's like riding a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down. And the most amazing thing is that my husband has always been so neutral and so there for me, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how I react, no matter how I am, he's just there. And that's honestly one of the most important things, is to have somebody who can just honestly just be there.
I love that. Yeah, and that's so important. I think one of the main like causes and reasons for people to struggle really harshly with mental health a lot of times is because they lack support. And I see it in a city like LA. I see it all the time where people don't have their families here, so they're forced to be alone, right? And not a lot of people know how to deal with that very well. Luckily, you and I and all of us have the streaming community to kind of support us when we go through stuff like that. But a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who honestly, sometimes in smaller towns it kind of is like that as well, because I know a lot of people who, I am lucky enough, I have a big family. I come from a huge family and I have that family support, but I have a lot of people who look at me and go, "You go to your family? Like, why would you go to your family?" And honestly, and nowadays it's kind of strange sometimes for people to go to families, because sometimes they're the cause of their mental health issues. But honestly, I'm lucky enough to have that family support also, not only just my husband but my family. Like, I'm a twin. There's a fun fact for you. She's always been there through thick and thin, and a twin connection is just a different connection, and no one will ever be able to separate our bond that we have. But my twin's always there. My mom, I have a huge family. The list goes on and on about who all I can. Dale, stop. No, she's not. She has 3 kids. She's happily married as well. But um, yeah, I just and part of my heart goes out to the people that, they feel alone and feel like they can't reach out, because I tell everyone that I know, even if I don't know them, no matter what, no matter what you're feeling, no matter whatever, I am somebody who you can go to, who is not judgmental, who it I the place where I'm at is a safe space for you to come and unburden yourself, unload yourself, and I have listening ears. And honestly, sometimes I'm talking. If I, if,
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're
um,
good.
and honestly, if I feel, I I feel like sometimes I'm a hypocrite to myself because I know people who tell me that all the time, but I don't go to them because I feel like I would burden them. But I can promise you, no matter what, I would rather you sit here and tell me your problems and tell me what you're struggling with and what you're going through than to not have you at all. No matter who you are, I don't care if I barely know you. I don't care if you were just a stranger and came up to me on the street. You are worth living this life and you're worth staying here. And I want people to know that it's okay to tell people who care about your story. And that's why I started the segment.
And people need to hear that. And I do my best to say that to people as well, because it's important. Because a lot of times, yeah, Sin said big facts. Yeah, a lot of times that's all somebody needs to hear is you're important, you matter. And a lot of times, some people don't think that's important because a lot of people just take that for granted, like whatever. But we need that. We need that connection, that sort of emotional validation that we matter, because ultimately that's what the human experience is. We all want
Mm-hmm.
to feel important and validated, and that's just the reality of that. So I love that you do that. Before we continue with the conversation, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in. I do want to acknowledge the fact that I have my comments on right now and I'm looking at every single comment, but because it's a feature show, I am not able to acknowledge each and everyone individually, but I do want to invite you to continue being part of the conversation because I'm reading you all and I appreciate you all being here. And this is Own It. If you're new on my stream, hello, I'm Cicely. Welcome. Make sure you favor me and my guests and you give my guests a lot of love as well. And this is Own It. This show happens here every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, or if you're my time Pacific, it's 2 p.m. Okay. So I'll see you here every single Tuesday. Right now, we're talking to Queen Alley Katz. And I do want to say also, this is not a mental health show. Okay. I do want to clarify, but we do touch on different topics every week because I do think it's very important to acknowledge and understand that in order to be successful at anything, we need to first be okay here and here, and we need to heal and we need connection. And this show is purely based on our opinions, but is meant to be uplifting and positive and a safe space for everybody on here. So, um, Queen Ali, so what are some things that you do in order to ground yourself when you're going through difficult times?
Oh man. One of the things that I like to do is I just sit down and sing. I just sing my heart out. I mean, it sounds silly and it sounds ridiculous sometimes, but sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to music for me is a way to get my emotions out. It's a way to say the things that I want to say, but I can't say it necessarily in the right way. And so singing it just makes things 10 times better. The right song comes on, the right song pops in my head, and I just want to sing it. I want to get all those emotions out. And another another way, and this also sounds very silly, but honestly, for me, um, just if this again, like this sounds very silly, but honestly, just sitting down and a good cry, just a good sit down with yourself and a good emotional breakdown. Honestly, we all have those at one point in time in our lives, and sometimes it's necessary. It's necessary for the healing process to move forward with your life and your daily process. So sometimes sitting down and crying is sometimes the best way, or getting mad. Honestly, some people don't have that emotion, some people don't cry. If you're mad, go get a punching bag or a pillow and just go at it. Like, you have to feel and process those emotions, and when you don't, they bottle up and then you just burst like a bottle. So for me, sometimes I just need to sit down and cry to come
And I
back.
love that. And you know what's interesting about that? Last week's show, that was one of the tips that I gave is feel the feelings and cry when you have to, because bottling things up is not healthy. And I was even telling everybody last week that I usually give myself a full day. If I'm going through stuff and I feel sad or whatever, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to cry it out. I'm going to be in bed. I'm going to Netflix it one day. But then the day after, I'm up. Okay. So that's my one rule: feel it for one day and then move on, you know? So yeah, so everybody, welcome to Own It. I want to give a quick shout out to my dear friend Charlie, who's also an amazing streamer. I hope you're feeling better, Charlie. I want to say thank you for being here. He did tell me yesterday he was going to try to make it, so I appreciate you making it. Everybody go favorite Charlie. He's the best. Um, yeah, so I love that, Queen Alley Cat. So do you have time to come back at the end of the show?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So before I let you go now, give your shout outs, what you have going on, when are your streams?
Shout out to my GTR family. We are GB Team Represent. We are just a team of people who sing and come together on shows. I stream. I try to stream every night. Sometimes I don't make it, but I do have a segment on Mondays called Mental Health Monday, where I have a few guests and we talk all about our mental health. And we talk about the trials and tribulations that we may have gone through or still go through today. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For me, it's 6 p.m. I'm Central Standard Time. Um, Shout out to all my friends who showed up for me here. I was a little nervous to come in, but and because I wasn't quite sure. This is my first ever being on a featured show. So this is exciting. Yeah.
Is that your first feature show?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
I'm
I feel honored. Thank you.
I'm definitely a smaller streamer. I haven't really gotten up there, but I hope to get up my views, and I'm not looking to definitely have a featured show or be top badge. You guys are amazing for what you guys do on here, but I'm definitely just looking for people to come in, more guests to come in, and I'm just happy that I'm here and you let me be on your show. Thank you so freaking much.
Oh my God, well, you're amazing. You're doing amazing. Whoever did that, thank you. You're doing amazing, and I want you to know I really appreciate you choosing me to be your first show. What an honor. Charlie, sunflowers are actually my favorite flowers, so thank you.
Oh.
But so Queen Ali, Sin told me he's not home yet, and because it's a featured, I can have him on here if he's driving or anything. So I do want to ask you another question before I let you go. You talk about mental health. What's the reason? What got you into wanting to talk about that?
Okay. So I mean, I've always wanted to do something like this, but I wasn't quite sure if really it was the right thing to do since I just started streaming again from a long time. But honestly, I was on. I can't. I can't remember his name, but Boricua Queen. Thank you so much, Boricua Queen. She's one of our beautiful ladies.
I love
She was
her.
yes. She was on a show talking about forgiveness, and she talked about domestic violence and domestic abuse. And she was telling her story, her side of the story. And instantly it gave me a bell. It gave me an idea because I sat there and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to sit here and tell my story to people." And I realized I was like, "Stop talking about me. What about them? What about everybody on this app who has and struggles with mental health and mental illness? What about their stories?" I know, and I can't necessarily, I can speak for myself, but I can't speak for everybody else. But I know that there are people out there who some aren't ready, and I know some people who are ready to tell their story and for all of it to be heard and said and vented out. And I wanted to be that outlet. I also saw Gibby, which is our team leader, Gibby. He was on Brody's show, and he talked about joining this app because of depression. And I know a bunch of people who that was the same way for them, that they joined this app out of depression and out of desperation to reach out and to have somebody. And I wanted to make the show where they could come on and they can be heard and they could let out what they need to let out. And let me tell you, by any means, I'm not a professional and I don't want to try and give out advice. My goal is just to be the safe space where they can come and just tell all that they want to tell.
Thank you for sharing that. And I wanna add to that. It's very interesting how things happen, because I hear of a lot of people joining the app because of that. And that's the main reason I do the show as well. Because you guys know we don't do the show for the diamonds, but I do the show because I really, really enjoy the show. My friends on here know I love advising people, and because I'm confident now. I'm this person now, but I was never like this growing up. This is years in the making. And so I think to myself, if I could help somebody feel better about themselves, I'm gonna do that. And it's interesting that you're mentioning your story, or Boricua Queen's story about being depressed and all of that. I joined the app for fun. I joined the app because one of my girls is a top badge, and she was like, I do this, I stream on this app and I love it, and you have such a great personality, you would love it, you would make friends. And I was like, cool, I'm down, I'll stream, I'll see what it's about. And then the interesting thing about that was a few months, I don't remember exactly how long, but a few months after I was streaming, I went through the worst breakup that I've ever been through. And the app got me through it. And the fact that I had the show got me through it. And the fact that I had streamer friends got me through it. Because I went from having, you're married, having that best friend support, to all of a sudden feeling the loneliest person in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. For sure. And honestly, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm so glad this is a while back. I'm okay, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad everything's good now, of course. But yeah, no. And just the fact that, honestly, the families on here and the people on here, you can make such strong connections. Like, I haven't known all of them for that long, and I've already made such a strong connection, and I've related to a lot of them, and I've bonded with a lot of them. Like, they're my family, honestly. And of course, there's a different version of family, outside of the streaming world, but like, my streaming family is so strong, and I'm so glad that I have them, because if I didn't, I don't know honestly where I would be. I wouldn't be doing this at all on this app, and I can't thank them enough for supporting me and being there for me. And honestly, the other day that I was on the stream and I kind of had a breakdown, and I had that feeling like, why I don't think I'm necessary. I that's what I told Boricua Queen. Came in, and I told her that I just don't feel necessary, and it's okay to feel those feelings. But she encouraged me, and the fact that I even have friends like that to encourage me on this app is insane. It's amazing.
I love that. Well, thank you for being here again. I love that I'm your first feature show. I appreciate that. And I know Cape Verde was saying that too on here, and I totally forgot, but this was also her first time, and I feel so honored. And I am excited. I'm going to continue to talk to you in a little bit at the end of the show, because I like bringing my guests back into the guest box. But everybody go favorite Queen Alley Cat and go show her some love, okay?
Thank you so much for letting me come on your show, and I'm so happy that I could come, and I'm happy that this was my first feature too.
Yay! Well, you did amazing. You're doing amazing, so I wouldn't worry about that. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
How great is she, everybody? And hello. Welcome to Own It. Welcome to your featured hour here on Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. I am so happy you're here. Sorry, I know I froze a little. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy that you're spending your time, giving me your time in this featured hour. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I'm Cicely. I go by That Cuban Girl. And my amazing Emoji J, who's my admin, he's gonna drop my Instagram on here. Hopefully he's still here. So if you wanna connect with me, I invite you to do so. I'm always on Instagram. And I also now started doing TikToks every day. So if you want more confidence tips, make sure to check out my TikTok. What's my TikTok? That Cuban Girl, Sicily, I think it is, or That Cuban Girl 2.0. Something like that. I'll post it on my Instagram later. I'm very new on my TikTok, but I started giving confidence tips because I want to help people. I want to help people just be better and become a better version of themselves, right? Which is exactly what we do on Own It. So first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to three people on here actually. First is my amazing admin Emoji J, he's the real deal. He finds me my guests. I wouldn't be doing the show without him because he literally knows everyone on the app and I don't. So if you want to be a guest on the show, please contact Emoji J. He'll put you on the guest list. We always have a really good time on here. And the other shout out is to my friend Charm Charlie, who showed up. He hadn't been here on the show in a minute. So I'm super happy to see you. Thank you for supporting, for being here. And the third shout out is to my girl, Cape Verde, because she's literally, like, I lost count of how many weeks in a row she's been here watching the show, supporting the show, and I appreciate her so much. So thank you for being here, my love. Hi, Charlie, of course. Thanks, guys. You guys are still here. And I want to remind you of a couple of things before we move on, okay? The first thing is, if you're going to Live Fest, drop a 1 if you're going to Live Fest. Well, I'm going to Live Fest. I'll be there. So if you're going to be on Live Fest, make sure that you let me know because I would love to meet you in person, take photos, content, talk, get to know each other, whatever it is, I'll be there. So make sure you hit me up and contact and talk to me. Boricua! We were literally just talking about you right now, Boricua. So yeah, if you guys are going to Live Fest, I'm going to be there. Do not miss it. It's going to be amazing, okay? November 3rd through the 5th, okay? Before Thanksgiving. So I'll see you there. And the other announcement is, well, two other announcements actually. At some point before the month ends, I'm going to be throwing my 5 milli party. At some point, I promise. Don't know the date yet, but I will be throwing a 5 milli party. So yeah, make sure you tune in on my social media to know when, because I owe you guys the 5 milli party for sure. And the other announcement, last but not least, stay throughout the show because we still have so much to go. But also because my way of saying thank you to all of you is whoever's my top supporter of the stream, it's going to become my newest bouncer. And I did do a bouncer reset about 2-3 weeks ago. So I have brand new bouncers and that's just me saying thank you, appreciate you, I trust you. I love that you're supporting Own It. And it makes me happy that you guys are here. So before we continue, let me read the comments real quick. So I want to acknowledge if you guys have any questions about the topic of the day or anything like that. Let me see. Bless you both for giving a place for people to come and work through their challenges. Of course. I'm so happy that you're vibing with the show and you like what the show is about. AJ says, I can definitely relate to that. Charlie, I love you too. And yeah, you didn't know that that's how I found the app. Now you know. But thank you guys so much for being here and tuning in. And well, the show must go on. And what's next right now is the quote of the day. So if you're just tuning in right now, every single Tuesday, I do this show called Own It, which is this right here, the featured hour. And the intention behind Own It is for you and I to become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. So whether you're a streamer or you're just in the audience, it doesn't matter because hopefully I can give you tips, tools, the conversation itself, it helps you feel better. have more tips and tools to go about life. And so every single Tuesday, I have a different topic, and I choose the topic based on, of course, personal experience, because this is all about my opinion and the opinion of my guests. But I also choose the topic based on my guests' bios, because, of course, I want people to be able to talk about things they're familiar with. I would never make somebody talk about something they have no idea what to talk about, right? So both my guests today have dealt with mental health, and I have done shows the last 2 weeks about mental health. But today, it's not just about mental health. The topic is how to ground ourselves through difficult times. And I think that's very important. Thank you so much. I think that's very important because a lot of times we go through difficult times and we don't really know how to deal with those difficult times. You are either very emotional and you're dying in your bed, or you are avoidant and you're pushing away your feelings and your emotions, and you're just like not wanting to deal, which both are not the healthiest thing to do, right? So if I could give you some tricks on how to do that better, then I'm gonna do that. Okay, so make sure you stay towards the end of the show for the tips that are coming up. But right now, I want to share with you a quote that I found. Grounded, yes. Yes, walk, yes, take off your shoes and walk in the grass. Exactly, that's a great way to ground. But another a quote that I found that I really, really relate to right now reads as follows. Even when we can't control the situation around us, we always can choose where we're directing our attention. Even when we can't control the situation around us, we always can choose where we are directing our attention. And I love that quote because this is something that I am personally dealing with this last couple of months, because things are going to happen that we have absolutely no control over. People can break up with us, we can lose our jobs, a family member can die, things can happen, our car can break, things can happen that we cannot control. But what we can always control is where we're putting our direction. And I want to make a distinction between because I know I've heard it before where people talk about controlling the way we react to things. 100%. But sometimes even that, it's really difficult. You have to have so much self-control in order to really control your emotions and how you react. But what I have found and what I loved about this quote is that when we learn to redirect our attention, then we're golden. Because if we're able to still react to things and whatever, we react to it, but we're able to redirect our attention into something different, then that also makes a huge difference. So that's why I love that quote. Let me see. If we can control emotions, we control nothing. 100%. Thanks, Alex. That's why we take it one day at a time. 100%. Yeah, best ways to respond and not react. I totally agree with you guys. So that was the quote of the day. Please stay tuned for the tip of the day. And Sin, are you available? Is he ready? Is Sin ready? Is he in the house? Sin, are you in the house? Can you message him? Because I'm not sure if he's still driving or stand and deliver. Where's Sin? Where did he go? Thank you guys for messaging him. Are you available, Sin? Are you not driving anymore? Just got in. Okay. So request the box whenever you're ready. And all right, you guys. So yes, Charlie, 100%. Charlie, I would love to have you on the show again. You haven't been on the show in a minute. But okay, you guys. So I want to introduce to you all my second guest of the day here on Own It on this beautiful Tuesday evening, well, afternoon, actually. He loves music. Mental health is also a popular topic on his streams. And during his free time, he likes to skate, and he's also a referee for a women's sport team. Everybody, please welcome Sin to Own It.
Hello, hey, well, hi. Sorry about that. I was trying to get home as fast as I could. We had a tropical storm come through today, so the roads are kind of wet and a little bit of flooded. So, but I'm here. So let's get the show on the road.
You're totally fine. I appreciate you being here and not canceling and
Of
doing
course,
your
exactly.
best. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Well, Sin, what was the shirt about? Let me see.
Hey, thank you for the wheel. Oh, it's my good friend KDB. It's her merch. It's her Loverade shirt. You can find it in her merch store. Uh, I think it's in her. You can find it in her bio and her info and stuff. But yeah, it's actually part of kind of like the whole tied into like mental health, tied into the whole story of how I ended up on the kind of got hooked onto the app and stuff. So yeah, it holds a very special meaning, a very special place in my heart, being a part of that community uh, and her community. So
I love that. So wait, so shout out to Katie B because I've seen her all throughout the show supporting you guys. So I just favored her. So shout out to you. And shout out to whoever sent the wheel. Thank you, thank you. So Sin, tell everybody a little bit about your story, how you got into mental health and all of that.
Well, mental health for me, the way it kind of got into with my life was, pretty long, kind of drawn out story. But basically, kind of going, I am Latino as well, like as yourself. I am have Mexican. I'm half Mexican. So I'm pretty sure some people can kind of relate to it, but growing up Latino or growing up in a Mexican household, it was very. I know it's not the same for everybody, but for me, it's growing up kind of in a kind of like in a toxic kind of real strict kind of household. So for me, this kind of life journey for me, what it's been with the mental health and that has been kind of trying to break, you know, uh, kind of we like to call it like generational cycles, kind of break the culture cycles, that kind of sometimes I feel, in my opinion, kind of are toxic in our cultures. Just so we know some the way we're brought up, the way we're taught things, stuff like that. The like for especially for Latinos, especially Mexicans, the whole machismo thing, right? Trying to get away from that, break away from that kind of mindset. um so yeah, it's been quite a journey for me as far as the mental health. As far as the app itself, this is, like I said, this is why this kind of ties into everything, and with the community. This we call KDB's her community is called the Smileverse, which I'm very proud to be a member of that Smileverse. But the way I got into that and came into that was I was in a very dark place in my life at the time when I came into the app. When I came across the app, came across her stream, got invited into that community, welcomed in there, kind of like how Queen was talking about, like you find looking for a purpose sometimes. Sometimes you don't feel like you're adequate enough, or you don't feel like you're enough to, be amongst people or be amongst the, society or whatever. But being welcomed into that community, welcomed into that stream, into the app, basically, it really changed my. Like I always say, it really changed my life. Really turned around my life at that time when I came into this. Was back in 2020, late 2020, when I came across her. So just using that, and then at that moment, it kind of opened my eyes as well to that we need help sometimes. I know I needed help. I needed some help with my mental health. So I started to go see a therapist, which again, in the Latino community, that word is kind of like, people get kind of like, what do you mean therapy? Like, you need a therapist? Like, you don't need a therapist. You just need to toughen up or whatever. That's again one of those cultural that generational cycle that I always try to break, and I always talk about that in my streams. With people who want to talk about it, who want to be open about it. Um, the people that come to my streams, they can tell you I'm an emotional person for one already, but I get pretty vulnerable, pretty emotional in my streams. Um, Queen was talking about having a good cry. I'm a big advocate for that, especially amongst men. I see no problem or anything at all, or that makes you look weak. If you have a good cry, or if you're, if you're a man and you cry, I always tell people, like, yeah, like, it doesn't matter if, people will tell you something, or, you might open yourself up to criticism or whatever. And I know I open myself up all the time to that criticism when I'm that open, or when I'm at, emotional or vulnerable, in my streams or anywhere else, where I show that kind of emotion. Um, I always I always tell them, just, yeah, just be yourself. If that's what you need to, you know um, to get through what you need, what you're getting through at that moment, then go for it, do it. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with, having a good cry. There's nothing wrong with that. So in that aspect, yeah, like, mental health has been a real big part of, my life now, here on the stream, here on the app. I try to advocate as much as I can with people that come into my stream, that it's okay. There's nothing wrong with opening up. And I rather encourage it, especially to the other men that come in, or to the other men on the app, to, yeah, speak up, talk about your feelings. There's something wrong with it. This it's we talk about, like, suicide prevention and stuff like that, which that also is really close to my heart. Um, I always tell the dudes, the bros, it's like, hey, man, I rather you come and talk to me, or I'd rather you come to talk to somebody or speak up, than have to hear about, that you did something to yourself, in the news, or by word of mouth or whatever. There's nothing wrong about, opening up, speaking up. I encourage it, and, I try to give that message out as much as I can, um, to the men, in our community.
I love
Um,
that, and thank you for sharing your story. And real quick, everybody, welcome to Own It. We're reaching the end of the show, but I just want to acknowledge everybody who's here, showing up, giving us love. Sin has a huge community who's supporting him, so I really appreciate all of you guys who are Sin's people, and you guys who are here today. So nice to meet you all. I love to see that you're so together. And also my friends, I see Cooley, I see Angel, Angelito, Bunny Moreno, Jojo. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here. So I just quickly want to acknowledge all of you guys. But Sin, thank you for sharing your story. And I want to say, when it comes to that, it's super important. And I think another reason why I love doing the show, and I do this as well, is because I experienced something very similar back in 2012. I was young, but I had a friend who was going through, basically, he was in the army, came back, was going through PTSD and all that. And we were in college together, and he kind of tried to open up to me, but I didn't take it seriously, because he was the type of person who was always smiling, and you always thought he was fine. And then unfortunately, he ended up, passing away a couple months later. And I felt so bad, so bad. And I think subconsciously, that's also why I do this and I help people. And I'm always like checking up on my friends, because that stuff really does happen, you know.
Yeah, it does. And if I can kind of pick it back off now that you brought that up, funny enough, earlier today I was in the stream where, there's one of my friends. She hadn't been on for a while, a good while, and she was on, and, kind of talking like, oh, how you been? She's like, oh, I'm kind of struggling, been, kind of down in the dumps lately, but, it's all right. And she asked me like how I was, and I was like, yeah, I'm surviving, just the daily struggle, whatever, you sprinkle in some of that anxiety and depression, because I do suffer from anxiety, a lot of anxiety and depression as well. Um, and her response was like, oh, like, I didn't know you struggled with that. It's like, because normally, you're always such a, happy, or every time I see you, like, you're always smiling or happy, person. And like you said about your friend, it's like, well, sometimes I know especially if the person, doesn't open up, or, sometimes people keep to themselves or whatever. If you really don't know what somebody's going through, yeah, a lot of the times you won't catch it, or you won't pick it up, because maybe the person's, has done a good job of masking it, or, for the longest time, maybe they felt, not safe to open up or talk about it. So, throughout the years, they've kind of built kind of a shell, and they don't show it. They don't show that emotion, or, they'll put on a smile, even if it's a fake smile or a laugh or whatever. And that also, that's also it's quite sad, but sometimes that's also some of the ways that some of us deal with it, right? Some of us, handle it, and I'm not saying that's wrong, definitely not, but it is a good thing to speak up if if something's going on. If you can find an outlet, find somebody that will listen to you. I always encourage all my friends, hey, I'm always an open ear. If you want to come talk, if you need a rant, talk, open up, whatever. I'm an open ear. You can come talk to me anytime. I'll do my best, to make a little bit of time to listen, and if you want some advice or whatever, I'll give you advice. But yeah, just sometimes just people just need somebody to listen, and that's very important. I've been blessed to find a good community, a good amount of people that do the same to me, for me as well. They'll listen and give me advice, and help me get through my struggles as well. And I'm so blessed, and I'm so thankful for those people as well. So it is,
I
yeah, it's
love
very
that.
important.
No, and that's super important. So I'm gonna invite you back in the box in literally 2 minutes, because I'm gonna
Okay.
have you and Queen Ali come back in the box. Everybody go favorite scene. You're gonna see him back in a couple of minutes, okay?
Thank you
Go
guys so
favor
much. Thank you.
him.
Okay.
Of course, of course. Don't go
Yeah.
anywhere, okay? You guys, we're reaching almost the end of the show, but don't worry, the conversation's not quite over yet. I just wanted to take this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To say thank you, to say how much I appreciate you guys being here. The show wouldn't be the same without you guys showing up. Actually, the show wouldn't be anything without you guys showing up and supporting. And I hope you know how much that means to me. I'm not the greatest at keeping a streaming schedule, but you best believe I'm always here on Tuesdays. You know where to find me on Tuesdays, unless I have a modeling job or something that's that I can't get out of. Like, you know where to find me. So I'm happy and proud about that. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all the support. I'm gonna go ahead and before I give the tip of the day, and we ended with both my guests back in the box for final thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. I do want to give shout outs to my top gifters of the stream today. And I do want to remind you that whoever is my number one gifter is going to become my newest bouncer. So I just want to say that it's just my way of saying thank you for being here, showing up. I appreciate you guys. Ah! Thank you. Was that? Thank you, Cooley. You have a kid sensation. Thank you. All right, so you guys, these are so cute. I know it's a feature show, but I can't help myself. These are so adorable. All right, so let me give shout outs to top gifters. Number 10 is Miss K. Number 9, Story Sniper. It's Cape Verde. Thank you, girl. Number 8 is Monty, my dear friend Monty. Thank you. Number 7 is Queen Alley Cat. Number 6, Katie B. Thank you, Katie. Is it changing? Okay, no. Okay, hold on. Number 5, I think it says Bunny Moreno, but I think it's Angel Moreno, right? Thank you, Angel. Number 4, Sin. Thank you, Sin. Number 3, Charlie, Charm Charlie, my dear streamer friend. I appreciate the support, my love. Number 2, he was best known as Culinary, but now, thank you. But now he has a different name. So I guess he's going by Delulu for Lady Fox. Oh my God. Thank you so much. And number one is Kid Sensation. Thank you, Kid. I appreciate the support. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna hit you with a follow, with a favorite. Thank you. It's so nice to meet you. I appreciate you supporting the show. And just everybody else who's just your presence, and just thank you. I appreciate you guys. So the featured hour is officially done. So that means that my number one, but hold on, we're not done yet. But my number one supporter of the stream is Kid Sensation. Therefore, he becomes the new bouncer. So thank you, Kid Sensation, for being my new bouncer. You have become it, you have earned it. I am so appreciative that I have a new friend who's a bouncer now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, thank you to Culinary. I don't know what name you're going by right now, but I appreciate you too as well. So anyways, hold on. Don't forget to tell us your TikTok. That's a good question. I don't, what's my TikTok? Oh no.